Berkeley have done an amazing job with the way it's super seamless, very smooth implementation. Good job, guys. So yeah, I don't want this to be super like a talk and very kind of one-way formal thing. Just feel free to show up with questions anytime. Super chill. Just want to like talk to you guys about VR and why I think it's awesome. It's the best thing in the world, and you should just do it. If you're not in VR right now, please get in VR. Just get on this train. And I'm gonna start with just like a brief overview of what we do, because like you might wonder who are these people, like why do we care to listen to what they do, and then how are they involved in the VR field. But I'm gonna run through this quickly and then talk about like why I think VR changes everything, the whole game, as much as we can talk about in like 20 minutes. And there are other speakers today that will talk about amazing things too. Just make sure to go to these, especially next talk. That's 4, right? 4. Okay. It's gonna be awesome. All right, cool. So we're a startup based in LA. My name is Weaver, or we are, if you want. Weaver is better. We are creators. We do VR content, so very high-end VR content. We produce it, some of them in-house, some of them we co-produce them, and we also have a distribution platform for VR that through which we create content from other production houses and studios and distribute. So you can think of us as like a version of Netflix for VR. We have our in-house production and creation of other people. It's a very VR-first thinking about the platform, and we'll talk more about this in a bit. So I'm personally working most closely on Transport, which is our platform, to get VR content everywhere in the world. People who have access, who won't have access, in like every city, venues, people's houses, and on their own individual access. And we do content. I don't know how much. Okay, how many of you have like experienced VR before today? Okay. One of you have tried something like a PC-based VR, which is Vive or Rift or PSVR. Cool. So others probably tried mobile VR, like Cardboard or VR. And we do content for any of those across the whole spectrum. There's pros and cons for each. It's like anything else, like playing Candy Crush on your phone versus playing Call of Duty Final Fantasy on like very high-end console. So it's like different experiences in the market. But that thing we do is experiences that are in between phones and games. So they're kind of like storytelling, which can be very interactive. It's a whole spectrum. I'll talk more about this. So these are some of our award-winning content. If you're trying the demos, you can still try them. We're demoing the Blue now. So the Blue is like this amazing experience where you're on the water, completely immersed, and you're interacting with some of the best like sea creatures, and you get encountered by this huge life-size whale. You can really feel a sense of scale in VR. Like it's an 80-foot whale passing right next to you. We have 2 other seasons that are like Reef Migration, and established, you can try them out behind me. Normally Goblins is one of our recent ones. It was done with Jon Favreau, who's the director of Iron Man, Jungle Book, Avengers, a bunch of other movies. He's also an actor. Who, ironically, was also the boyfriend of Monica, I think, in Friends at some point. So he's a cool person. So Gnomes and Goblins is one of those interactive storytelling experiences. What that means is that it really makes the most of the agency in VR. It changes, the story changes depending on how interactive it is. There's a whole artificial intelligence character framework that we have in-house that makes the story very, very variant depending on how interactive it is. Definitely try it out if you have time. Otherwise, you can find it on Steam for free. We have a preview right now. We have other stuff like on gear. This was done with Deepak Chopra on meditation, congrats. A bunch of different ones. So again, I'm just like giving you an overview of what we do, and then I'll focus more on like, the exciting stuff about VR as a medium in the industry. We have our Transport platform, and we've done like some really nice pieces across all devices. And to mention, we have a network VR direct to consumer. And it's also a really important thing for creators. So is any of you here the developer for VR or designer or create VR experiences? Cool. So one of the like pain points in the industry right now is that if you're a developer, you want to think about like what platforms to build for, and then how to get most consumers and the early adopters market and so on. And if you want to actually monetize your content, like how do you license this content to be used commercially and so on. And we have a whole network of platform and tools coming up soon that we'll announce that I can't really talk about right now, that are specifically for creators and people who are consuming and like using VR to showcase other people. And it's a really nice kind of platform. And our premise is that we make great VR, so that we're not afraid to try like very different experiences, very psychedelic things that are not the most straightforward to make money of. So we don't really do like first-person shooters. We don't do like these kind of more commercial, traditional kind of game experiences, which are things that are much more opening to the mind. And we work with animators and designers and so on. So if you're a creator and you have some amazing experiences and ideas, maybe someday we can work with you and co-produce stuff, or we can just use our platform to distribute stuff. And we have some really nice titles that you can check out. Some of the industry's biggest awards. We've won a lot of them at Sundance and so on. Tonight, actually, there's like the Coda Awards ceremony. We've nominated for 11 of those, which is the highest of any VR studio industry. I think the next one is probably Google with 6. So you can definitely check out a lot of these content pieces, and hopefully you love them. And shoot me an email if you have any remarks. Like, this sucks, we don't like this, do this instead, whatever. Anyway, so this is kind of an overview of what we do, the boring stuff. Now let's just talk about some kind of like eye-opening things about like why I personally think VR is the best thing ever. And at least now, maybe in 20 years, it will be like the most boring thing ever from the last 20 years. Oh, that's still 2016. But right now, this is like the shit. And I think everyone like, should really like, take care of this and like really like be aware of what's happening, because a lot of you probably don't know this, but like we are very fortunate as a generation to be like living right now when VR is just being like really launched from like to a consumer mass adoption. So VR as a technology has been around for over 20 years, but it used to be like $1 million headset that you only use if you're in NASA or military. Right now it's like the floodgates are open. Like this is happening. Revolution is right now. And you guys should feel like, even if you're just sitting like, oh, what the hell is VR, what is this, I don't get it, or it's just for gaming or whatever, all these misconceptions which are very natural, you should think about it as like, this is us in the early 90s when someone came up with the idea of internet, and some skeptics are like, oh, this is just for nerds to send like, a file to each other, what is this, who needs that? So like, this is where we are right now. And hopefully you get excited like, from this talk or other talks and just go out there and use it. Just like, make stuff, and you'll love it. So, probably heard this a lot if you've been reading stuff about VR, but VR really has potential to become like the ultimate medium. If you think about like the ways that people interact with technology and like the way they consume information and data and just communicate with, just become one with the matrix or like the whole technology. So like it started with us, like, and I think Nick will talk more about this kind of stuff. Hopefully, go to this talk again. So if you think about the progression of over the years of how people interacted with technology, and going from like, okay, first I can't really walk around, so I'm gonna stay here. Going from like interacting with just like, you know, in caves, like just doing some drawings on the wall and your prehistoric creatures, and just like actual painting, and then like moving to stuff like real life, like portraits and so on, and then camera technology, black and white and colors, and then movies, and then cinema, and you have like these frames, a bunch of them moving per second that your eye gets tricked and you think it's actual motion, and you have sound, and you have audio and cinema and so on, and then keep going to these screens which are much more and more realistic, or more and more immersive, doesn't have to be realistic, but where you feel like you're getting, like there's a suspension of disbelief, like you forget about the real world and you get immersed in this content, and then up to like VR, where like, literally the screen is like you're inside the content, like this is it. Like, if you think about like, if you want to extrapolate, there's nothing more than that. Like, the only thing more than that, potentially, could be like just sticking electrodes in your brain and then having your brain feel stuff directly, like in the Matrix. But and from here till there, all you can do is just strip the senses more, because we're just like, basically we're just brains and like just some biochemistry. And the way we just feel the world is just these 5 senses we have, the qualia. And the only way we can just trick someone and put them closer to content is by making the experience of the world through these senses more and more like compelling. So VR is like, this is it. We can just improve it more and more and more and more, but this is the ultimate medium problem. And it's so exciting. It's like saying like, we just discovered the way to like teleport you and like, just take you anywhere you want, and now we're just gonna make it better. Like, this is a startup. Like 2016 is probably year 1 of VR. Year 0 was last year. And our grandkids are gonna look back and say like, you guys used to have all those cables and so ugly and whatever, look at you. Same as what we look at like these huge like mainframe computers from 20, 30 years ago. And being in VR is like literally like lucid dreaming. I don't know how many of you have tried like high-end VR and some nice experience of storytelling, But there's always a sense of like, you know you're present somewhere else, but you also know that it's kind of a dream or it's fake. You have like this amazing kind of presence, you get lost and then you come back, and then it's so compelling to the point that even if you can't really put your finger on like what is going to be like the killer app of VR, like this amazing content, you just feel it in you. It's so visceral. Like this is going to change everything. You just put it on and you can see the future happening in some form or shape. Like if you were 10, 15 years ago trying to predict what the internet is going to do, and this is an answer to all the skeptics saying like, oh, what's VR for, and so on, there was no way you could predict Uber coming, or Airbnb, or Tinder, or Facebook, or Twitter, or eBay, or Amazon, anything that the internet has brought us that has changed life completely. Because you just look at this messaging system that just sends these content to another person, and then there's no way to think about what this does. And whether it's like storytelling, which is from like telling stories and movies, entertainment, and so on, or from any other sector that's going to happen, when you have agency, which is control over what happens in this new medium, so you can change what's happening in the content. You're one with the data, you're literally inside the matrix, you're plugged in. You have interactivity, and you have like any piece of content just being there in front of you. There's just a whole boundary of things, a whole new possibility space that's opened up. And even if you can't see what's going to happen in 20 years, you know that's going to be so different. And by the way, I want to ask a question every time. The thing is that like, any of you familiar with the concept of adjacent possible? Okay, so basically the idea is that it was done by evolutionary biologists, one of these awesome people who just talk about how humans were formed and so on. Way smarter than me. But anyway, the idea is that at any point in the history of mankind, or in the history of anything, really, there is just a finite number of things that could happen next to just push the work forward. You start with the primordial soup, which was just like these basic elements when the Big Bang happened, or if you don't believe in Big Bang, that's for you. If you don't believe in Big Bang, whatever that initial point in time happened was. So you have these like 3-4 things there, and then from these 3-4 things, it's only like X combinations you can make out of them. So you either get fire, you either get like iron, or like whatever, like just water element, and that's it. And then when these stuff happen, you can get like these X cubed or whatever other elements out of it. So at any point in time, there's some boundary, just the adjacent possible, just the next thing you can create out of what the world is right now. And every now and then, humans are able to just discover something or innovate with something, create something that pushes the impossible somewhere else. And whether it's a platform or it's like a tool or somewhere, something that changes the rules of the game, everything is different. Like the moment you create fire, you can start getting food. You can start like dominating forests and killing animals and not dying. You can start controlling nature and like the natural disasters by knowing how to like keep animals away and keep yourself warm and fight seasons and so on. The moment you hit acidity, you're no longer dependent on night and day. The moment you have fridges, you don't have to eat your food the second day after your hunt. You can just keep food for longer. Like there's all these like things that happen that push everything else around them. And every time something like that is happening, you should just really, really be careful. Whether it's like you're a student trying to figure out what you want to do with your life, have an impact, and just getting involved. By the way, you guys are super lucky. Whoever's a student here, you're super lucky to be a student right now because you can just, honestly, you can just fuck around in school, do whatever you want, and then work on projects and build awesome stuff. Or you can just drop out, start a company in VR. You can just do anything you want. You are welcome to take risks, and you are encouraged to just mess around and make mistakes. And in a field which is moving so fast and still so early stage right now, this is one of the best ways to do it. So like, everyone else is jealous of you, whoever is still in school now. Like, just please acknowledge it. Just look yourself in the eyes. I know you can't do that. I don't know what this question is. Find a mirror, look yourself in the eyes and say like, I'm super lucky right now. And whether it's God or anything else, obviously please do it. Also, one other thing. Again, this is a very erratic thought, so just think about it as chit chat. One other thing about how you're like, don't forget what I was going to say. Okay, never mind. Okay, if I remember, I'll say it. So this idea of adjacent possible and how everything changes with it, it's really like, it makes you dream. It makes you think about, like, let's say this is 2050. Like, how is the world like? What does it mean for us to be connected at all time with the world? To have this mixed reality around us. Like I can have other people in the room from anywhere in the world, just a real avatar. I can touch them, I can have haptics with them. I can have things from like any objects. I can be teleported to anywhere I want in the world. I can be like right now speaking and then having this digital thing that's actually getting all the feedback with me, and anything I have around me is just so much augmented. It's like we're superhumans. Seriously, think about it. Like right now, I've asked you like, what is the capital of, I don't know, Brazil? You have no idea. I don't know why, but if you don't have no idea, you just open Google and just check it. And like in 5 seconds, you have infinite knowledge. This is a superpower. If you want some new tools to fix your house or whatever, you just open Amazon now and you get it right now. It's a superpower. And VR gives you so many superpowers. So please get involved. Just do it. Go intern, build stuff, whatever. Just do anything you want. But yeah.